First of all, how significant is this deal for the market, for the broad market, before we talk specific about Heineken and its interest in Nigeria?
I think it's a great news for the market, especially with Heineken expanding their reach in Nigeria. Effectively, this would increase brewing capacity by 3.7 million hectoliters for Heineken. So effectively, they have 10, which is with Nigerian breweries.
So clearly, this gives them even greater market share.
Yeah, greater market share, and obviously we've heard news from, we're speaking to management of Guinness, and they've already commissioned a plant which obviously increases their capacity by 1 million hectoliters. Now they're looking at doing a greenfield brewery as well, which will take another additional 1.7. So we're seeing increasing activity, especially with brewers, because I think if you look at what the economy is saying is there is a shift from developed markets to emerging markets, and for that reason that the competition is coming, and what you need to do is you need to prepare yourself ahead of that competition that is coming to your market, and which is why I'm saying they're consolidating as much, increasing capacity. And we're seeing that not only in the brewery sector, we're seeing that across consumer and retail, especially for Nigerian listed companies that have parent companies listed anywhere else in the world. We're talking from the likes of the PZ or the Nestle or Unilever. We're seeing that increasingly the parent companies are looking to invest more in their operations in Nigeria, because they think the next opportunity or the next investment destination will be Nigeria.
Clearly, Nigeria has been in the spotlight as an investment destination for many companies. But one story that obviously hasn't been told in all of this to me is, like you mentioned, competition and preparing for competition. We do know that the likes of SAB are coming into Nigeria. They've come into Nigeria. They've been here for about 2 years now. And there was that expectation that they would probably pick up some breweries. To what extent do you see this as being a reaction to the entry of some other breweries like SAB, and to what extent would you say this is a business decision in terms of looking at the capacity of Nigeria and the markets that it offers?
I mean, this is a great opportunity for Heineken. If you look at what it is they acquired, now we have different segments for beer, which is the premium segment, the standard segment, and the lower segment of the market. Now, effectively, by acquiring champion breweries, you tend to take Beck's, which is a premium beer, so obviously you have Heineken and Beck's, which is in their stronghold. Now, if you're looking at the bottom end, which is where you have the likes of Double 3, smaller low premium beers, you realize that Nigerian breweries has nothing there, and or Heineken. So obviously, with the end, taking by acquiring these 5 breweries, then you get to have the opportunity to play that space of playing lower end beers for Nigeria.
But where is the bigger opportunity? Is it in the higher segment or the lower segment in your
view? I think the opportunity is in the lower segment or in the standard segment. Typically, because if you look at the per capita income of the average Nigerian, can they afford to pay for premium beers? But what we're seeing is the opportunity for us is this. We're seeing an economy of 150 million people expected to grow at 3% on a year-on-year basis. We're seeing that the per capita consumption of beer is at 10 liters, which is below, if you look at an average of African countries, it's currently about 14 liters. So we're largely not even there. We're not yet at the curve. So there's that opportunity. On a global scale, we're looking at 24 liters. So there is a lot of room for growth, for expansion. And we're seeing also as well that the per capita growth would be at an average of 8.6%. And I feel that, in terms of capacity in beer consumption, I think we can grow at an average of 15%, at least to 2012.
Let's come back to Nigerian breweries and what this means for Nigerian breweries. We have heard that there will be consolidation at some stage, even though Heineken has been silent. To what extent, how soon rather, do you think that consolidation would happen, and what's the implication for the valuation of Nigerian breweries in your view?
I think it's early to sort of give a timeline, obviously, because this is going to get communicated from Heineken itself. But however, at the point when we consolidate all these assets, Heineken currently owns Nigerian breweries, consolidated breweries, which is not listed, and then you have now obviously the assets, the 5 breweries under Sona Group, under Sona Breweries. If you consolidate all of that, effectively that gives you capacity of about 14 million hectoliters. Now, I think from a valuation standpoint, that is positive. Effectively, the stand on Nigerian breweries is neutral, because obviously the market has been good. In terms of share price performance. So obviously, I think that holders of these stocks can stay in the name. However, you know, at the point when we see this, you know, merger of these assets into Nigerian breweries, I think it would be great in terms of being able to push up valuations further and seeing further upside to
So
the
the
investor.
deal itself might provide some
It would definitely,
upside
it should
for the
provide
valuation.
some level of upside.
And lastly, let's talk about Guinness. How do you think they will react to this? You did mention that they are already expanding. They are doing more of greenfield projects. We know that they're obviously the leaders in the stout segment. Do you think they would react aggressively to this, or do you expect that they will just continue to consolidate on their leadership position in stout while they grow the lager segment?
I think it would be, you know, for anyone who would not want to not increase their holdings right now. Effectively, Guinness is looking to have market share of around 35%. Okay, and they're coming from a place where they're about 27. They've moved it up to about 30. Now, what they need to do is work on their hub brand, which is what has really given them growth in 2010 and sort of increased market share. And so obviously, which is why we're seeing that they've increased capacity by 1 million hectolitres and obviously looking to do more organic growth. However, if we're looking at the M&A space for Nigeria, I mean, with Heineken taking these 5 breweries, effectively you have things like Just Breweries left. Premier Brewery, I really wouldn't look at that. But I mean, we have very little, fewer players that you can potentially do an M&A with. So that probably shuts the door.
So Dele has really squeezed out the options for most
people. So most people that come to the market are probably looking at more of organic growth than need to do an M&A. But again, there is huge opportunity, and I think Guinness, you know, would not stay by the sidelines and see Nigerian breweries ramp up capacity and not equally do the same.
No, it's made a lot more difficult for the likes of SAB.